I first became involved with magazines or started producing magazines through our scooter club in 1982 with the club newsletters, giving it to all our members because we were quite a big club. We were, 30, 40 members by about 83, 84. So I started doing a newsletter for our club. And because we used to meet all the local clubs, that progressed on then to a smaller paperback magazine called the Sunset Scooterists. I've got some examples here. And then at the time, the magazines that were available called Scootering Magazine, the Rallyist and things like that, they weren't very reliable. So in kind of like April 85, or before that, I decided that I was going to do a magazine for the whole country, like just, sell it at rallies and things like that. And I created a magazine called the British Scooterist Scene. Also at the same time, Scootering actually came out then, and that was a bi-monthly magazine, but I went monthly on an A4 format and kept that going for about 16, 17 issues, and then decided that I wanted to go into distribution through all the newsagents in the UK. So I produced a magazine called Scooter Scene then, and that progressed then all the way through the 80s until Mark McFarlane Publishing, and because of the two magazines, we were killing ourselves really. They were selling less copies, I was selling less copies. So I decided to sell Scooter Scene to them and went to work for them for probably about 6 months. Decided I didn't really like it in Manchester, left the company, and within a year later, they sold me everything back again. And then I progressed from there on all the way through to 2002 when I sold Scootering to Morton's Motorcycle Media. The founder was Steve Myatt, basically, at the end of the day, another bloke who used to work for them. And then Gareth Brown became involved in the middle 80s. But they produced about 65 issues before I actually took over and bought the business. If you go back into the middle 90s, really, when the autos started coming out, I did start putting auto stuff in there because there was an interest in it. But we'd just pick out certain bits and bobs of it. The interesting stuff, because there's lots of rubbish out there. So we tried to put the interesting stuff in, and the magazine did grow a hell of a lot through that. I mean, there's still quite a few there are autos on the rallies. People do buy autos, especially the runners, the dragsters, and things like that. So I wanted to create a magazine for everyone, not just, anyone that's interested in scooters. But as time progressed, we saw that the auto market was getting a lot bigger. So we decided in 2000 to produce another magazine called Twist and Go, and that then carried on as a separate auto magazine. But there was quite a big crossover between Scootering and Twist and Go. We put articles in Twist and Go, which then will go on to Scootering. So we picked the good stuff from Twist and Go and put it into Scootering. But just to keep Scootering as an overall magazine for everyone really involved with scooters. Well, because I built when I was doing Scootering, I built up quite a large merchandise base. And I think I only did it really is to keep myself busy after I sold Scootering. Probably the one-off thing that we've done is obviously the Lambretta Manual, Sticky's Lambretta Manual, which I published with Sticky. And we've sold quite a few of them, and that's kind of like been our main kind of like seller over the last couple of years really, or year and a half or so. But I just sell all bits and bobs really, just gives me something to do.
After Stuart sold the magazine, I did three issues as editor of Scootering and didn't like working in Horncastle and thought I was better at writing than being an editor. On my organisation, I'm shit really. Stuart suggested doing a book about Lambrettas. Nobody's ever done a manual. There's been a Haynes manual for a Vespa, but there's never been anything colour or decent. Since nothing's been new since the 60s, and a lot of things have changed. Mark Broadhurst helped me with doing all the engine work, and Dean Norton from Rimini Lambretta Centre helped me with doing the chassis, and he really knows his stuff. The idea now is to do a second book that'll be more about tuning together with Mark Broadhurst, but progress is slow, mainly because I've been lazy and I've been enjoying spending the money I earned on the first book, dossing in Italy for 4 months. So.